Man, it's been a rough week. We heard that the Muppet Vision movie is finally going to get closed, but maybe it's okay because Rockin Roller Coaster is going to have some mayhem. We're going to talk about all that and much, much more tonight on ParksCenter. Welcome to ParksCenter for November 24th, 2024. I'm your host, Rob Whiteside. Thank you guys, as always, for being with us. We appreciate you. If you have not already, please make sure to subscribe to this channel and also click a thumbs up as it helps people to find us. This week, we had some bad news, and we're going to get together and talk about it as soon as I find the illustrious panel that is before us, featuring Shannon.
Yeah, Debbie was sick, so the union sent me for the last time.
Oh, it's heartbreaking. Allie?
Hello?
And then, of course, Square 4 is being refurbished for your future enjoyment. So thank you guys for being with us on ParksCenter. We appreciate it. You know, when I got the news, it was actually Thursday night, I think, that Tom Corliss reached out to me and was like, "Hey, we're gonna break this news tomorrow," because I handle the news today thumbnails. He's like, "Here's what's gonna happen." And I was devastated, literally, like, and you know what? People have real problems, so I realize that. Like, devastated is probably a little bit of a strong word, but within the confines of Disney and the importance therein, it was a little bit frustrating to hear that Muppet Vision is going to be closing. Now, we had originally heard that the Monsters, Inc. land, Monstropolis, was going to come to Animation Courtyard, which I have no problem with because there's nothing in Animation Courtyard. Yeah. There's the Star Wars launch bay that they used to do things with, and now it's an empty husk. I mean, you can meet BB-8, but, you know, only so many times. Disney Junior Dance Party, which I feel like it would be a little awkward if I went to the Disney Junior Dance Party. And then also you've got closed shops and things like that. So it made a lot of sense, and a lot of people were like, oh, no, they're going to put it where the Muppets are. And everybody's like, no, there's no way they're going to do that. Shannon, were you one of the people that said, I could never see this happening, or are you like, yeah, I could see that?
I could well, in terms of moving it to that location, I really thought that when they redid Pizza Rizzo, that was kind of solidifying the Muppets in that area. So I was on the train, the belief that Star Wars Launch Bay, which is, for all intents and purposes, a graveyard, that was the perfect place. So I am a bit surprised by the news, but that area of the park is lacking some life, and no one wanders back there to Mama Melrose, and the two of the gift shops are closed. So, and I guess it makes sense.
Well, that's a weird thing to say, though. It's absolutely true, but it's a weird thing to say. Is like nobody goes there because they closed everything. I mean, why did they close everything? Like, those shops should have been open. The place where we are meeting Santa Duffy, or you can meet Santa during the day back there, used to be a cool Christmas gift shop inside of the studios. I used to love the Muppets, that Studio One shop that was in there, which now they have closed off for specialty merch. So they could do more. They could have done more, but I think they've like slowly closed it down to the point where we're like, oh, I don't care about anything else that's back there. But then, you know, there was a time when that back area actually had some life to it. But I see what you're saying. Allie, you actually have spent more of your time at Disneyland, where you guys have no love for the Muppets. Y'all shuttered that thing immediately. It was been closed forever. And so how are you feeling about this? I feel like I know, but how are you feeling about this?
Yeah, I'm going to be unpopular tonight. I do love the Muppets. I grew up as a 90s kid. I love the Muppets. I loved when they threw them in at Merriest Nights at Disneyland for that holiday party. That was amazing, and I think the Muppets need a ton more love. I caved. I went to Jollywood. I love the Muppet Show. Like, it's all happening, and it's great. However, I agree with Shannon. That area is so sad and dead back there, and the Muppets deserve love. And if this is going to be the thing that's going to, like, bring Hollywood Studios kind of back to life and go through this transformation that DCA kind of went through, I don't like Hollywood Studios. I do not enjoy that park. It feels weird to me. It is clustery. That just does not make sense to me. There's so much space there that's, like, not used properly. I don't like it there. So if we're gonna like move the Muppets to the other side of the park, bring in Monstropolis and all that, I think that looks amazing. And yes, I'm sad to see Muppet Vision go away. That show I saw in my childhood, I loved it, but it needs help. And I'm sorry, I know I'm very unpopular right now, but if this is what we need, I know. I think it's going to be good. I think we're going to be okay. I'm okay with it. It's fine. Go
Oh,
ahead. You can come at me with that. But I think it's going to be good. Like I think they're going to get a lot of love on the other side of the park. The Muppets aren't going away. It will be okay, everyone. It will be okay.
We'll talk about
We're
that in a
going to be
second.
fine.
We're
I know we're going to be fine.
I know
Y'all
exactly.
will be
Breathe.
fine.
Well, you know what's funny is
Breathe.
like it feels like back in the day that there were things that were seemingly untouchable, and you know Bob Iger, I don't know if you guys are familiar with his work, had said at one point that the parks are not museums, and so therefore we shouldn't just keep things for the sake of keeping them. And I agree to an extent of some of that stuff, but it seems like we've lost a lot of original stuff. And I've said this before that with Six Flags, it doesn't matter if you knock down that coaster and build a new one. I don't have any love specifically for that coaster, and whatever you're building will probably be better. But with some of the IP, there's such a history with the company that the things that they continue, it's like saying like, oh, let's just blow out It's a Small World completely and put in, I don't know, like a an Ice Age attraction because we own that IP now. You know, and we can say, oh, that would never happen, but I didn't think the Great Movie Ride would close. I didn't think that we would change the Country Bears show. I didn't think that we would, you know, get rid of the auction scene. Not that it didn't need to happen, but I just feel like that there's no real kind of like sacred cow anymore, that everything is up for grabs and depends on what they're going to do. And we're going to talk about Monstropolis in a second, but a lot of people thought that this actually, and we talked about this a little while ago, that this should have been like on the National Registry of like, you know, historical things because it was Jim Henson's last project.
Yeah.
So a lot of people have said that about it. And, you know, I don't go to the Tiki Room every time I go to the parks, but every time I go to the parks, I do Muppet Vision. And maybe that's just us and my family, but we go in and we quote the pre-show, and then we go into the main show, and we you know, we try not to quote it out loud. We try not to be those people in the stretching room, but you know, it's like it's hard not to. And there's a lot of stuff that I quote all the time in my daily life that no one understands. When I go, maybe Bean can light the fireworks, and they're like, "What are you talking about?" So that show just meant a lot to me, and I think we've talked about Dinosaur closing and all that, and we'll talk about closing attractions too. But where I'm getting with this is that the Jim Henson Company came out and made a statement about this, which I found kind of interesting that they would come out, because you know. So Disney, let's talk about this first. So their quote was, Jim Henson's final project was Muppet Vision 3D, now regarded as a theme park classic. Innovation always was Jim Henson's North Star. Man, talk about a corporate speak right there. Was his North Star, and his trailblazing career led to him to a unique challenge, a truly immersive Muppet Vision Muppet experience, where audiences are happy, are part of the happy chaos of the iconic Muppet Show. So they end it by saying, we look forward to Muppet Vision 3D's next act. So by saying that, by saying next act, again, we ran this on WDWNT.com. Check it out sometime. Disney exploring ways to preserve Muppet Vision 3D. Now, when I was talking to Tom originally when this happened, I said, it seems like you're moving Muppets to Sunset. You've got that Sunset Theater that you've closed Lightning McQueen. You're going to open a villain show, which I've heard could be not great. And then, you know, why wouldn't you maybe, if you had to move this, put it there? But if you do that, it's going to not be the same. I don't think they're going to move it, like pick it up and do like Statler and Waldorf and Bean and the animatronics and everything the way they are. Maybe they would. But I feel like that's one option. And the other option is that they said they put it on Disney Plus. Shannon, is it the same if you put it on Disney Plus?
No, but would I still watch it all the time? Absolutely. But I would expect them to move Statler and Waldorf. Like, that was a big part of the charm and the humor of that show, was those two up in the booth there. So, you know, never say never. I know people feel that, hey, they already announced this villain show, so there's no chance Muppets is going to go there. But how many times have we seen things, projects that have been given out in great detail and never came to fruition. Mary Poppins. So maybe they will put Muppets there instead of the villain show.
Okay. Yeah, I think that is definitely a possibility. So, the Muppets are moving because we're putting Monstropolis there, right? That's why it's happening. And originally we were told that Monstropolis was definitely not going there, right? Like this was off limits. So with Monstropolis coming, one of the things I was looking forward to was new. Everything that they're doing seems to be like they close one thing down to put in something new. They don't. We have the blessing of size. How many times have we heard that? Yeah. And they're closing things down to open up new things. And in that animation courtyard, like I said, there's a huge waste of stuff in there because we don't have anything. So I get that. But like build new, build extra. But what they're doing here, and let's take a look at this. This is the new concept art we received for this. So it was 3 announcements at the same time. It was Muppet Vision closing, Monstropolis, here's an update, and it was the coaster, which we'll talk about in a second. So if you look at this, it looks like basically a reskin, not a rebuild, but a reskin of what we have right now for Muppets. So I'm assuming that the building that is here is still going to be, you know, a restaurant. And then you can see like Harryhauser's down at the bottom there where Mama Melrose is right now with the chopsticks and the eyeball. And then the theater is going to become a Monsters, Inc. movie of some sort. And where the Muppets fountain is, there's going to be a Monsters fountain. And then the only thing they're really doing is they're building the coaster at the end. That's the only thing new that's happening there. So this is a fresh take on this concept art. And when they originally announced this, Ali, at D23, they said there was going to be this door coaster and then another attraction. I never thought it was going to be a movie, though. Don't you feel like this is what I feel like? I feel like they said, hey, we can do this a lot cheaper if we do it over in Grand Avenue.
No, you're not wrong. I mean, that coaster looks amazing as long as they do a good job. But I mean, we got to wonder, like, are they going to keep Monsters Laugh Floor? Is that going to stay at Magic Kingdom? Are they going to move that over there? Like, what are we getting over there? So again, hopefully it's something amazing and something new, but I still feel like there's just a lot in the air. But low key, I'm actually kind of excited for Harryhausen's. I hope it's really good. That seems fun.
No, I agree to that. Let me put a pause on this because we do actually have a super chat. So Shannon, buckle up. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rogue Lesser says Hollywood Studios and California Adventure have both become merchandise IP the park. No sense of legacy or unifying theme. And what's Disney Adventure Park in Paris is probably exactly the same boat. All of these studio parks that they built for working studios, and then they were like, nah, we're kidding. Disney California Adventure, that's a whole nother conversation, Allie, that you and I could have hours about. But for the studios, when because I'm 100, when the studios first opened up in 1989, it was a completely different scenario than what we see now, because it was a literal guided tour of the process of making movies. There was a walking tour, there was a tram tour, there was the animation tour. Like, there were all of these things that you would spend and invest an insane amount of your day in doing, and it was kind of sort of a half-day park. But I think that people who don't understand Disney would go, well, where are the rides? And if you think back to a few years ago, there were like 5 attractions at this park, 5 rides, and now we've expanded that a little bit. So definitely, Rogue Lester, thank you so much for the super chat. Don't disagree with you at all that this is just basically, I mean, it was very evident at the 30th anniversary when they showed off the new Hollywood logo, and it had nothing that referred back to the original park. It was like, hey, it's all the things you love about Hollywood Studios. It's Woody. Wait, what? No, that's new. Woody and R2-D2 and Mickey.
Yeah.
There's no way that the Pixar, what used to be the entrance of Midway Mania, there's no way that that's going to connect to the Monsters Land, right? Because I think that is a missed opportunity, and I always love that area, and I feel like it never gets love now.
No,
I can't tell from the concept art, but
No, it won't. No, it won't. It won't, because this will back up to Galaxy's Edge, not to that other space. So. Yeah, it's pretty much sealed off from that standpoint. But again, looking at this concept art, it just basically looks like they went, how can we do this in the cheapest way possible? Well, we have a theater there. Let's kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy in California. Let's like glue some tubes to it, paint it a little bit, and it's a brand new thing. This one looks like, let's put an eyeball where the clock is. Done. So again, I've been looking forward to Monstropolis. This door coaster has been rumored for years. It was originally supposed to go where the expansion of Toy Story Mania went, into that into that area over there, because they had those old studios that they used to use for, I don't know, studios. And so they had one that was there, and there was rumor of a Monsters Inc. coaster back in the day. But yeah, and again, the restaurant I think will be an upgrade. Not a lot of people love Mama Melrose, I don't think. I don't know what they'll do for the pizza Rizzo swap out there, but it also looks like, and again, just looking at this concept art, is that they may be knocking down the studio store, because again,
Hey,
like looking. Go ahead.
Pour one out for Mama Melrose, because I don't know who else watching has done this, but when I was a kid, I took a crayon and I wrote my name on the wall somewhere in there, and it's very sad that that's going to get destroyed now. Who knows where my name is, but it's there.
Pour one out from
Pour
Mama
one
Melrose. Yeah. F in chat for Mama Melrose. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, hang on a second. Hang on. Why have I lost it? I mean, I've definitely lost it.
This is just a lot of Shannon.
Everything's going, yeah, I mean, it's called a salute to all shows, but mostly Shannon on ParksCenter.
Exactly. And actually, Care Bear and David have dropped F's in chat. There we go. So some people are with you on the Mama Melrose side. Yeah. So again, Monsters Inc. is going to be, taking over Grand Avenue. I agree with you, Shannon, on some of the things you made, the points you made earlier, that they're not using that area as much as they should. Hollywood Studios, more than any park, does not have the blessing of size, because if you look at it on a Google Earth, it's boxed in by roads. So it's nice to be able to take advantage of that stuff. But like, I can't wait to hear what they're going to do with Animation Courtyard now that this isn't what they're doing with it, because all we know that's coming is Monsters here, and then and again the coaster. So looking forward to hearing whatever is coming next. So the other thing that they announced along with this, and I don't think that it was by mistake, is that they announced the Rockin Roller Coaster with Muppet Mayhem. Bum, bum, bum. So that is interesting on many points. I know on this show we said at one point we thought it'd be really cool if they would do a power line overlay for this, but they said no, thank you. They're going to do a Muppet Switch. I mean, can you picture that? Like, can you picture that? Nobody.
Yeah, I don't hate it. No.
Okay, that's actually a Muppet Mayhem song. But honestly, I think this is great. But somebody, I think it was Kevin early in the chat before we started the show, dropped in with a chat and said, I love that they're doing something else with the Muppets, but closing Muppet Vision means that I can't take my grandkids there.
Yeah.
And we don't do roller coasters, so I won't see that roller coaster. And this is the kind of thing that Walt wanted, a place where kids and grown-ups could go and experience things together. Because there was a lot of stuff that he didn't want to do, and that's what I loved about old Epcot, is like you get on Horizons or you get on World of Motion, and it's like that. But I think a lot of people wanted thrill rides, and so they created them. My wife gets very motion sick, and she loves Guardians of the Galaxy, and she did it once, hopped up on Dramamine, and will never do it again because she loves that IP. But at the same time, like, I love that coaster. I think it's great. However. Now you're saying you're taking this IP that was originally designed for children/families. It was the original kids with a layer for adults humor, and you're going to make it into a place that a lot of people don't do Rockin Roller Coaster because it goes upside down. So it does seem weird to me, Shannon, that they would take this IP and put it on top of something like an upside down roller coaster.
Yeah, Yeah, but I don't hate it. I like the fact that Muppets are living on in some extent. I wasn't a huge fan of them putting Queen in there when that was rumored, although, no knock on Queen, but I love Aerosmith. I've always loved Rockin Roller Coaster, but we have to come to terms with the fact that, Aerosmith is kind of no longer at this point, and at some point, fans and guests won't relate anymore. So let's keep Muppets alive and put this in, and I really hope they do a great job with it and not slap some stationary figures in there.
Okay, great point. We have a very well-themed experience with Aerosmith's Rockin Roller Coaster. You come in and you're at, you're at G-Force Records, and they have the recording stuff, and you hear the Walk This Way music, and then you go into the studio and you get to see the pre-show with, wait a minute, I love that idea, and all of that stuff is really cool. And I think to myself, how awesome they could make that with Muppets if they had, animatronics and Muppets works perfectly, because you don't get that uncanny valley thing. And so you could have a Statler and Waldorf and that kind of thing happen, and like a room full of the band happening. However, let me redirect you, Allie, to Muppets Brewing Lab, where it's just Beaker and Dr. Bunsen Honeydew. Even though we have a roving Muppets lab available that's been there, and it's behind a screen at the Brewing Lab, it's just a couple video clips instead of actually having Muppets there. Do you think for this one that they will have actual Muppets in it?
I think they're going to have to put the actual Muppets in it. I hope that they do. I think they know people are going to be very disappointed if they don't. This is a sacred IP. They know people are upset. And I think they have to do a good job. Rockin Roller Coaster needs some love. I'm with you guys. Aerosmith it's a fun ride. I get a little motion sick on it, so I don't do it all the time, but I will do it for the Muppets. But yeah, hopefully they bring in some animatronics and do right by this. And to Shannon's point, and Rob, your point as well, this is not something that all the kids are going to be able to do. So, I know we had a rumor or something maybe where we're going to expand and add more Muppet stuff. So maybe there's more Muppets coming, and this is just the beginning of whatever is going to happen. So, nice.
Shannon, same question. Do you think that there's going to be Muppets here? And also, a Dragger in chat said you're going to, instead of driving through the donut, drive through Animal's mouth. I hope that they don't just.
That'd be good.
I hope they just don't do a replacement shot for shot on the things that are inside there. I hope they go the extra effort, whether they do projection mapping, something better inside the actual attraction than what we have right now. Because if you look at this and you look at something like not Ghost Galaxy, but the Hyperspace Mountain in California, they went and they have the TIE fighters and the shooting and all that kind of stuff. Give me something else in this thing. But as far as the Muppets in the pre-show, Shannon, what do you think?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I think they have to, whether I think they are going to put Muppets in there or not, actual Muppets. I challenge Disney and Imagineering and whoever sets the budget on this to make it happen. I don't think it should be a pretty, expensive or heavy lift. And, at first when I heard about this, I was thinking how much I love the queue and the load area. That theming is always so real to me and so authentic. And I think it's going to actually fit in really well with Muppet Mayhem. I hope it doesn't change too much, but, just with a hint of Muppet. So we'll
see. Okay. Well, again, I mean, a great point made from the top was that now you were going to have the Muppets there inside a roller coaster versus inside a show that the entire family, I still hear little kids that get excited when they, where's Bean? He's up there. There's a recording of it. So that when you're sitting in the theater by yourself, you still hear your little kids screaming, he's up there. So it sounds like sort of a Children of the Corn situation. But there's a lot of stuff about that show that I will definitely miss. And so I would think that you could move what was Muppets Courtyard and then became Grand Avenue. You could move it down to where the Rockin Roller Coaster is, and take the fountain and move it there, and put the movie inside of the Sunset Showcase, and expand that area maybe more to what Jim Henson and Michael Eisner had in mind back in the day with the Great Muppet Movie Ride, or a better restaurant than what Pizza Rizzo's is. I don't mind the food, I hate the theming, like, of Pizza Rizzo's. Like, that old school, like, Disney pizza is, for me, the same way that a lot of people have nostalgia for that school pizza that's like the rectangles. I have a nostalgia for that old style Disney pizza. Not a lot of places have it. Pizza Rizzo's does. A lot of people think it's trash, but I don't have as big a problem with that as I do the lack of theming. Muppets are over the top. Muppets are wacky and zany. There's nothing wacky and zany about Pizza Rizzo's.
Oh, come on. The banquet hall. Pour one out in the banquet hall.
Stop it.
Shannon's going to be there just pouring one out all over Hollywood
When Shannon visits Orlando, she gets her Italian food at Grand Avenue.
No,
Whether it's Mama Melrose or Pizza Rizzo's, she's always getting her Italian food at Grand Avenue.
No stone unturned in the theming of that counter service restaurant. I never forget when I was in there and the janitor pointed out to me the sign where if you look really close, you see the letters that a funeral was being hosted in that room the day before, but now it says like someone's wedding. And there's a touch like that is incredible to me. I'm
going to counter you on that and say, as a huge Disney fan, you needed the custodial guy to point that out to you. It was so not obvious that someone who worked there had to show it to you. And I'm sure that was a Disney moment for you and some Disney magic, which is great. But it needs, like, Muppets shouldn't be that subtle that it's like, oh, hey, let me tell you, like, the history of this. I mean, I don't know. The original concept called for, like, rats in the rafters, like animatronic rats in the rafters delivering food across, like, conveyor belts, and it looked amazing. So, you know, I don't know. I hope that they can do something and maybe put the Muppets there, give the Muppets their due. Regal Eagle is okay. I feel like it could have more theming. The Great Moments in History went away. I loved that show. I thought that was cool. The Muppets Mobile Lab never goes out anymore. I mean, part of me thinks Disney knows what they're doing when they shut this stuff down, and the other part of me goes, that maybe they're doing it on cheap. Like, if you look at it from, Shannon, you and I were talking about pre-show, we were talking about Muppet Vision, and you're like, you know what, people are going to be surprised that, like, I think it's time that it needs to go. And then, you know, but at the same time, are they doing it because of that? I haven't been in that theater when it's full in forever. So I do understand that they probably want to make the most out of it, but
think about that last scene. I love that last scene so much, but it's like 1991 MGM Studios and the guests there that look like they're stuck in time. Like, I love it, but I wonder what goes through people's heads who go in there for the first time. Like, what the heck is this?
So let's get rid of Citizen Kane. Let's put some color in that. We'll just reshoot the whole thing. I get it. It's fine. I know. I'm comparing Muppet Vision to Citizen Kane. At me in the chat on that one. All right. So let's move on. Because, again, with this, every time I go to Disney now, I feel like I need to do everything that I know is closing.
Show.
Stop it. We'll get there. So I always feel like I need to do everything that's going away because it could be the last time I do it. You just said you were going to, like, maybe go to Hollywood Studios so that you can watch Muppet Vision for the last time. But, you know, it didn't used to be this way. And so when they announced all this stuff at D23, we're at like a 9. We're excited. We're crazy. We're like, oh my gosh, this is great. We're getting this. And you don't stop from drinking the Kool-Aid to know, oh my gosh, what are they replacing? Because they're not going to build new. Epic Universe did. They're building a whole new place of, you know, multiple lands and new attractions and restaurants and all that. We're not building new. Almost every single thing that we're doing is a teardown of something else to build this new. So we posted again, if you ever come across it, wdwnt.com, you should check it out. But we posted a visit these things at Disney World before they're gone for good. So you've got, you know, the Riverboat and Tom Sawyer Island, and Tough to Be a Bug, and Dino Land USA, all of these things that we know are going away, and now Muppet Vision, and Aerosmith, if you're a huge Aerosmith fan, because we even talk about, like, you know, the poor Aerosmith fans who are like, this is my favorite thing because of Aerosmith. A lot of people don't even know that the Aerosmith Rockin Roller Coaster changed songs every time. Like, nobody paid attention to that like we do on Guardians, or, you know, so it's one of these things where all of these are going away, and I feel like there's a whole list of them. I mean, I don't think there were a ton of people that were like, oh my gosh, I have to ride Test Track 2.0 one more time before it goes away and becomes Test Track 3. But maybe there were some people. I was surprised at how many people loved Lights, Motors, Action. Like, my whole family didn't like that attraction. And so we went to, like, one of the final shows, and there were people crying and holding up signs, and we love you, and thanks for all the years. And so, like, so there may be people who love this, but, you know, a lot of these attractions have to go, but some of them feel like they didn't have to go, right? Like, it feels like Rivers of America can exist, and we can build the Cars things somewhere else. But I guess what I want to ask you guys, and we'll, you know, would love to hear from you guys in the chat. Is there anything going away? Allie, I know you don't have the love and affection for Disney World that you do for Disneyland, but is there something that's going away that you're like, man, I really wish this wasn't going away?
I mean, I think I'm with you with the River of America and all of that. Like, it's nostalgia. Like, it feels like it belongs there. So I'm just curious to see what we're going to do with Cars Land. Like, are we going to completely get rid of the water? Are we going to keep the water? That to me is still a little bit up in the air and a little bit sad. I haven't done Tom Sawyer Island here yet. I should probably get on that. I will go. Dino Land, again, I have a little bit of nostalgia for it, but I feel like what you said, they've just done such a, I guess, good job of making it so bad that I'm like, oh my God, get rid of this right now. Like, there's nothing there. It's sad. It's empty. It looks just depressing with stuff being torn down. Like, just fix it at this point. And Tough to Be a Bug, again, it's a cute attraction. It's fun. You know, we had it at DCA. It went away. I don't miss it. Again, another attraction that was great for a while, but time for something new, and hopefully it will be an upgrade. So I'm kind of okay with everything. I'm just a little concerned about Rivers of America, but we will see. It just, hopefully they leave some kind of water, something going on over there with Cars Land.
Yeah. And oh boy, Shannon, oh boy, what's yours?
Here we go.
Here we go. She's like, nothing, tear it all down, burn it all.
No, I love the Rivers of America. I hate Tom Sawyer Island, but I love the aesthetic of the river and looking at the island and making it feel like you're someplace real, even though you're not. Like, I think we get less and less in that of Disney, and staring at another IP attraction, I think is a bit of a bummer, but Tough to Be a Bug, get rid of that garbage. Dino Land, I'm indifferent about. So those are my big things. But yeah, Rivers is going to be a little sad for me.
Tough to Be a Bug, get rid of that garbage. Wow.
I haven't been in there since the first time when I was a child. I never went back because it was bugs and it was terrifying.
I was about to say, because you were terrified. That's the thing, is like, my kids were terrified of the fact that the bugs hit you in the butt, or that the things drop down from the ceiling, or the stingers in your back. And it's like, who came up with this masochistic attraction, really? But at the same time,
there's a lot going on. Yeah.
Right? But at the same time, like, it's kind of cool. But my only problem with the Tough to Be a Bug transition, and for those of you who don't know, they're putting Zootopia there. My problem with that is that I wanted Zootopia to have its own land at Animal Kingdom. I feel like this solidifies them not doing that, because the Clawhauser animatronic is going to be here, not at the attraction like we see in Shanghai. So the original concept art had Zootopia and help me out, Moana as the two things that they were adding instead of Dino Land and Dinosaur. I was all on board. I really was. I love the dinosaur ride. Again, very quotable, but I was on board for them doing that. Then they were like, okay, no, what we're going to do at the Animal Kingdom is we're going to put Encanto. What? Okay. And we're going to put Indiana Jones. Really? Okay. But then they're like kind of backtracking. They're going, oh, but the Indiana Jones one's going to be animal related, and we're going to maybe do like Antonio's room for Encanto so that it'll be animal related. Like, don't worry, we got you. But it's like now you're trying to shoehorn animals into it to make an excuse to put this IP there. I still think that the Rafiki's Planet Watch area should be Zootopia. Like, I think, you know, you can kind of take away the visitor center for, like, the vet. Keep the vet out there, but we don't maybe have access to it. I don't know. Make the T-Train internal screens inside, like the Hogwarts Express, and you take the, you know, the train to Zootopia, and you get out and, like, do a whole thing. But this solidifies that there will not be a Zootopia anytime, maybe in our lifetimes or maybe ever. But putting those two IPs there when Moana 2 is about to come out and Zootopia 2 is coming out next year, I don't know, that just makes what sense? That, like, it just, I don't understand why they, like, backtracked and said, you know what, let's not do that. Let's not put that there. Let's instead put Indy, which is like a clone ride system, and the Casita. Now, Casita is going to be great, but also you're taking away. You took away Primeval Whirl, which you may have hated Primeval Whirl, and you may have forgotten about it at this point, but it was an attraction that was there, and the Triceratops spin, and you're putting in Casita, which will hopefully be great, and then you're also putting in another carousel there. So we're swapping. We're not building new, we're swapping. So for me, I always want to go and see, you know, these things before they go away. But it feels like now there's so many between, again, playing the games at Dino Land, riding Dinosaur, the, you know, carousel, I mean, the Triceratops spin, and, you know, the boat, and Tom Sawyer Island. And, like, it's like, what? That's so much. So, again, I don't know. I would love to, again, hear from the folks in the chat and see what kind of things that you're missing out on that are coming. I think I saw Michael says Zootopia, never seen it, looks weirdish. Tough to be a bug is hilarious. WDW execs have ADHD. Now, okay, all right, wait a minute. I may have to agree with that because we change and shift so quickly. Like, I've mentioned this before, the Universal, like, sometimes they don't announce things until it's almost done. What roller coaster? Oh, that one? I have no idea what you're talking about. And then they go, the Velocicoaster is going to be open tomorrow. I want Disney news. I'm hungry for Disney news. Our whole blog is all about trying to find out the news first. But make sure you have it buttoned up, I think, before you tell us what's going on. That's just my thoughts. All right, so let's move on to another attraction, which, you know what, Shannon? You said like it was a downer. This is a good news thing. Smile. Yeah. This is a happy thing. Soarin has been panned for the bent Eiffel Tower to the point where, like, if I'm not in the middle section, I'm kind of already bummed, like, before I even get into the attraction. Yeah. But luckily, they went in and they reshot so that you don't end over the Fountain of Nations that doesn't exist anymore at Epcot. They reshot it so that the Eiffel Tower doesn't bend. And also, there's a new Epcot scene. Have you? I know that you're down there. Have you been on it yet, Allie?
Yeah, I was the one that shot it that day that it happened. Yeah, it looks really good. The first time I went on it, they put me in the middle without me asking, and everything just looked way cleaner, way crisper. The Eiffel Tower, you're more zoomed out from it, so you're not as close to it, so it doesn't bend. And it looks really good. And then obviously we're a little sad about losing, you know, old school Epcot, but, you know, this is what Epcot looks like now. And I think the change needed to happen. So overall, I think it was all good changes. And then I went back on and wrote it a second time, and I was kind of a little bit more to the side, and things were still a little bit distorted from the side, but not nearly as bad as it used to be. So I think that will help a lot of people. Like you said, Rob, if you're not in the middle, you're already bummed. With this new upgrade, like, it doesn't really matter what seat you're in, you're going to have a much better experience. So all positive changes. I don't think DCA got it yet, so hopefully they get it as well. Yeah, it looks way better. Positive change. Good job.
Yeah, exactly. And this is a thing they didn't tell us about. It was you just woke
just
up
quietly
in the morning
did it.
and it was just there. So that's a good thing. One thing I did Shannon, I hate to do this before I go to you first, but I'm going to talk about it. One thing that's a little bit of a bummer is that, and the article mentions this, is that the Epcot logo can be seen in that courtyard right there in the middle of World Celebration with the lights on, but apparently those lights haven't worked for like months. So, give and take. Shannon, thoughts on this? Are you a big Soarin' fan?
Yeah, I enjoy Soarin'. I think this is fine. I think it shows that they listen, right? Because how many people have complained about this? The Taj Mahal is still a little wonky, but okay. A change is a change for the good, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let's again. I'm excited about this. They didn't mention anything about it, but they made it happen, and that's a good thing. So props to Disney on that. Let's talk about this because I feel like Allie, you and I have a huge problem when it comes to anything
We do.
that is. And I feel like your problem has gotten worse, by the way, and I don't think it has anything to do with me.
Yeah, you're not helpful.
No. Yeah, we're all enablers here at the blog. We enable each other. Do I need this? It doesn't matter what it is. Yes, you need it. You need two of them. You need one for now and one to use and like one for later. I just went to Mickey's. I just went down there last week and ended up, Shannon, getting the Sully popcorn bucket that I think you panned pretty hard.
Boo!
I know. He's coming to take over Muppet Vision. But
I'm just gonna hold this and flex.
Yeah. All right. So there's some new stuff, but you've gotten a hold of some stuff because you went to California and you grabbed your own stuff.
I did. Yeah, I had a friend pick up everything for me. Yeah, so we got the gingerbread house, and I don't think we talked about this on the blog, but like Mickey is interchangeable with the Minnie on the side. And you can move them around. Like, how cute. Yeah. So you can move them.
Finally.
So if you want Minnie in the front. Yeah, right? Yeah, I went and I got the elf bucket. I got my Mickey drummer. And then, of course, your girl Mickey drop. So got this one to match my red one. I love that they're doing this for Florida now. That Florida got a little bit of love. So especially because I live here now.
Are they the same ones? The ones in Florida and the one in California for the
one that they're
Sam's?
releasing at Disneyland is the only difference is just going to be the bottom will say Enchanted Tiki Bar instead of Grog's Grotto. But the one from last year is red. This one's green.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, Shannon. You only buy like the things like Mr. Toad and then you're out, right? You don't love any of this stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm more likely to purchase a tiki mug than I am the popcorn buckets. I don't want to insult you, Rob, but I can't have too much junky plastic sitting around my house. Sorry.
Why would that be an insult to me? I don't understand. Does it make you uncomfortable when I leave the camera on you for too long?
No.
Okay.
I'll be here all day.
I was going to say, I feel like you found your place in the sun. One thing I wanted to say.
Oh, the Wookiee bucket. Yeah, we didn't talk about the Wookiee bucket either.
You have it with you?
I can grab it.
Nah, that's fine. The Wookiee bucket came out for Life Day last Sunday, right?
Oh my God! I was going to ask, why is Mike blue and it's your green screen?
Yeah. Yeah, it's my green screen.
I thought that was a defect on your popcorn
No.
bucket.
But let me tell you about this real quick, is that when I bought this, I bought it at Hollywood Studios. I bought it during the Jollywood Nights, and I didn't want to have to carry it around because this sucker does not fit easily in a backpack. And I didn't want to have to go shove it into a locker somewhere. So I know, first world problems. But I got this, and they immediately filled it with popcorn.
Oh, no, they do that here. Yeah, you got to yell at them
happened to
immediately.
me
You're
with
like,
Toad.
no.
And I didn't know, and I was like, oh, I don't want popcorn in it. And they were like, we have, the guy got angry with me. He was like, we have to put it in there. And I'm like, then I don't want popcorn. Don't give me any. Because normally what they do is they give you a cup and they give you the popcorn bucket. So the other one that I got was this one, this little fella. And again, green screen. This
He's
is messed
blue.
up. I know, right? But they sold it to me and handed me this and handed me a box of popcorn. I was like, thank you for knowing how this works. I know it's dumb. It's absolutely silly. It's
Like Disneyland knows what's up. They ask you. Yeah, they ask you before you even. They're like, you even want it on the side? It's like.
Although you got me that Ant-Man sipper once, and they filled that thing with liquid.
Yep. I think the problem was I mobile. Lesson learned there.
Yeah,
I
and
walked up. I was
go
gonna say
ahead.
I walked up to Sleepy Hollow and when they had the Madame Leota sippers, and there was a guest rather aggressively arguing with the cast member because he just wanted the sippers and did not want the liquid inside, and the cast members forced it upon him, and he started screaming.
Oh wow.
But I too
You
got
can
I
like
got
wash it,
popcorn in my
right?
throat.
Like you
Yeah.
can just wash it when you get home.
No, nope, 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 nope. Again, for those of you who are judging us, I understand you judging us. It makes perfect sense for you to judge us. So therefore, one of the things they do at Disneyland a lot more than they do at Disney World, I feel like, are tumblers. So there's a new tumbler.
Yep.
I don't know if you got that one or the metal one while you were out there, Allie. Also, this tin, which is one of my favorite popcorn buckets because it actually will hold popcorn and plays music and looks beautiful, has returned. I think it's the same one that they had last year.
It is the same from last year, yep.
Right, but
Yeah.
that has returned, which was a nice touch. This one, this Mickey drummer sipper, finally showed up at Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. This has been available at Disneyland for a while now, but showed up at Disney World. These things. Now, Shannon, last week you were defending straw clips. Can you defend glow cubes like this?
Absolutely. I actually stole this idea from our good friend Pete Carney, but throwing those in the bathtub is really fun.
Oh wow. I haven't thought of that.
That
Especially if you
disturbs
have
me on
little
both
kids.
levels, that you're sharing that much information with us, and that also Pete Carney and picturing him being in a bathtub with a whole bunch of glow cubes. Like, what kind of, just setting the mood, treating yourself? Is that what you're doing? Pampering yourself just a little bit? Little
Pouring
bit of
one out with
self-therapy?
some glow cubes.
Yeah, pouring one out. Glow
Right.
party.
One other thing, though, and we're going to talk about the Disney Treasure in a second, but I wanted to talk about they're doing more plastic on the cruise lines now, and this one is for Zootopia, and this is Jumbo Sweets ice cream truck bucket. And if you're thinking, oh, that actually looks a little bit familiar,
Yep.
I have a prop. This one was at Disneyland, and again, this is like a light blue, which then looks like
Teal.
green,
Yeah, it was
but,
teal, right?
but
Yeah.
but it has this spoon up here. It's just different stickers and coloring. So, but it's pretty cool. But it's exactly the same as that one. But I think that's a smart thing to do. But it's interesting that all this stuff is coming to the cruise line. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how long it stays there. I don't know. I guess Disney fans are Disney fans, whether they're on a cruise line or they're in the park, so they're going to want this kind of stuff. But the glow cubes are something that I find interesting, and that it would come out this late. I know I say this late. It's end of November, and we still got all of December, but it seems like all the Christmas stuff, most of it came out November 1. Right after, and then some of the stuff November 15th because of Disneyland rolling out then. But we're probably, Allie, still going to see some stuff rolling out for the Festival of the Holidays when that starts.
I think so, yeah.
This coming Thursday, right? In Epcot?
Friday. Yeah. Festival
Friday.
of Holidays starts Friday. Yeah, I think we'll see a few more things. I would be shocked if all of the stuff from, not the glow cubes and the straw clips, because for whatever reason, Florida doesn't seem to want to do those out here. I feel like people would buy those. But I think the rest of the popcorn buckets and whatnot should make an appearance, but we will see.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about the Disney Treasure, because the Disney Treasure, Shannon, it's a ship. I don't know if you're familiar with Disney Cruise Line at all. I feel like you might be. We talked about the Disney Treasure and all of the things that they were dropping ahead of time, but it took port, or made port in New York for its christening, and then also the press got a chance to tour it. And in my head, I'm going, does that mean that they didn't get a free cruise like they have in the past? Do they just get a chance to tour it, get their content and move on? Is that what was happening here? But you said that you had thought about going out there to see it. After seeing some of the reviews and some of the walkthroughs and photos, are you sad you didn't go out there?
So sad. That drone show had no business being that great. I would watch that over Luminous any day. It was so good. I regret going. Obviously, I wouldn't have been able to get on the ship to get a preview. But I just have a few notes about Treasure and I guess this point in Disney Cruise Line history. when Disney Cruise Line first came out with the Magic and the Wonder, and then eventually the Dream and the Fantasy, I felt like that was still during a time when Disney was trying to break into the cruise industry, who historically targeted adults, people who like to party, get drink packages, gamble, midnight buffets. And with that, I felt like part of their ships were built or themed to things you could see on any cruise ship. Think about area, I think it's called the District on the Dream. And there are some bars and lounges there that truly you could find on any cruise ship, like the Skyline, even the little main area, exact name of it, but where there's usually a musician playing. There's no Disney theming whatsoever except a hint of Disney in the pink champagne bar. With the Treasure and with the Wish, they're finally leaning into the fact that they can go full Disney theming. And this makes it so much more appealing for me, as someone who does not cruise often. I cannot wait to get on the Treasure. That Haunted Mansion parlor looks incredible. The Pepper's ghost in the mirror behind the bar, all of it. This is the first time I've seen something where the actual thing is better than the concept art. The Grand Hall, the lounges, they all look better, I think, in person and more themed than the concept art. Bravo.
Well, you know what? One of the things that I think was so cool about this, like you said, was the drone show. It's so funny to me they put this much work into a drone show, and we may never see this anywhere again.
I know.
You know, it's just like, okay, that was awesome. When can I see that in my backyard? They had Madame Leota drone in the sky, which is
incredible.
So good. And then that was followed by like the hitchhiking ghosts, and all of this stuff was just. It was pretty amazing. Why don't they have this in the parks all the time? They've clearly, somebody's made it. Somebody's programmed all this. It shouldn't just be one and done. We should be able to see this, and maybe even just do it when you cruise the Treasure. Like, that would almost be enough reason to go and do it, is so that you could see something like this in person with like the hitchhiking ghosts and the Moana stuff that was there. It was really well done. You know, so again, our team was out there. Tom was there. I think Eric was there. They were taking a tour of the ship. There's some little touches like Figment and things like that on the ship, Allie. Does any of this make you want to take a Disney cruise, or is there one like? Do you just want to hang out in the Haunted Mansion parlor?
I just want to hang out in the Haunted Mansion parlor. No, it's funny. One of my friends from California actually sent me a message about 2 hours ago, about the Haunted Mansion lounge tour. She's like, this looks amazing. And I was like, yeah, but it's on a cruise ship. And she was like, oh, she's like, that would maybe make me do a cruise. So I literally just sent her a message. I was like, yeah, let's set up a cruise. So yeah, I'm so here for Haunted Mansion. The touches look great. And this might be enough to finally get me to go do the cruise. Especially because I go there now. That's way easier. But this looks good.
Okay. Again, we've been talking about the Treasure a lot. The Treasure is now going to be at sea and welcoming guests, etc., etc. So we're very excited to see that. And then the Adventure has just been announced that the Adventure, their sailings are available online for, I think it's 2026. So eventually there's going to be 13 ships, and then God knows how many after that. There are way too many ships. I feel like, because I want to be a completionist when it comes to Disney. There's already more parks and more countries than I can get to, so you know, that's definitely a thing. But I'm excited to see this one. I think of all the new ones, this is the one I want to go on, more so than the Wish.
Yeah,
this is the one I want to go on.
Yep.
Let's talk about this, and when I say let's talk about this, it'll just be me, because both Allie and Shannon were like, nah, pass. Is that this one is, because I get it, because y'all haven't drank the DVC Kool-Aid yet. You'll get there. Is that they have finally announced that Disney Vacation Club Lounge that's coming to Magic Kingdom. We knew it was coming. It's been announced, but now we have like concept art for it. And it's going to be in 2025. We're going to see this in the park. So this is Disney Vacation Club's McKim's Mile House, a member lounge. Yeah, it's going to take me forever to start calling that McKim's Mile House, but I mean, it looks like kind of like a cross between the lobby of the Liberty Tree and something over at Disney's Wilderness Lodge. So. comfortable seating, complimentary soft drinks, a child's entertainment area, Wi-Fi, charging cords available upon request. So this looks a lot like the one over at Epcot, and then of course the one that's in Disneyland now, the Starview. Have you, Allie? Did you ever go in Starview? No, I would have
Nope,
taken
I'm
you.
a peasant. Well,
I
you
would have
didn't
taken you,
ask.
but I thought we were going to go right after you and I met up at Ballast Point, and then you're like, nah, I got to go say goodbye to other people, so see ya.
Oh,
Um,
unpack, yeah.
yeah. You know what? And the fun part was that was free ice cream bar day, so you really, you
Lead
double
with
missed
that
out on
next
that one.
time. Lead
I
with
know,
that.
I know. You know, again, I feel like that Disney needs to do more. And if you guys are not DVC people out there, I apologize for this, but I feel like Disney needs to do more for the people who go to the trouble to buy DVC just from them, because you can usually get your points a little bit cheaper after market. But this is a place where you can go and get you get these perks if you buy a certain amount of points from Disney Direct. And then we already have the problem of, if you have points, you really need to plan 11 months in advance. My wife doesn't like to plan more than 11 days in advance for a Disney trip, so it makes it a lot harder, and we're always on a wait list. But the lounge stuff is one of those things that makes me very excited, and I'm looking forward to going to this one at some point. So since y'all don't have a lot of opinions on that one, we'll move on and talk about real food at Oga's. I always wanted there to be real food at Oga's. And you're taking a deep breath there, Allie. I think when this came out,
Yeah.
you were in California, and the request came up, and the immediate thought was, well, this is in California because everything happens in California. And they're like,
Yeah.
no, this is at Disney World. And it was like, what? No,
Yeah.
that can't
We had
possibly
to all
be true.
like, they're like, hang on. They're like, wait, we need you to go do this. And I was like, okay. And then I reread it and I was like, they're like, oh, wait, hold on. It's in Florida. And everyone's like, wait, what? So trying to scramble to find people to go here in Florida. Yeah, I mean, I get there's a 45-minute limit for Oga, so you can't have like a whole meal or anything. But every time I'm there, I'm like, that bread is always good. At least the Disneyland bread is. And just, you know, a couple little snacks or some real food that's really, really overpriced. I think, you know, I'll buy it. Like if I'm there and I have a drink or two, I'm probably going to want some food. So just have a couple snacks and some real food there. It's easy money.
Well, I would assume so too, because, and most of the places, I think, here's my guess as to why this is a problem, is that I feel like there was supposed to be a full service dining restaurant attached to Oga's on both coasts, which would have allowed for a kitchen that was attached,
Yeah.
because Docking Bay is attached to Ronto's Roasters, and so they kind of
Right.
share a kitchen, whereas these would share a kitchen, but but the place with the kitchen was never built. So I assume that like they got to send Johnny over to Docking Bay to cook a pizza real quick if you order one. But I mean, all they used to have is like they used to have the Mustafarian lava roll for breakfast, and like the overnight oats, things that they could easily bring in. And then they have what's it called, like the rations, I think, or something like that. And
Yeah.
then now they have this flatbread. I would love there to be food there, because I would like to go and use that as my meal sometimes, as opposed to just going in for drinks. Because I feel like I don't want to waste my park time going to a restaurant and then coming over and then doing drinks in addition. Now, that's different from you, because I know that you're in the parks all the time. But for somebody that doesn't get there all the time, this is a little bit different for me. Shannon, do you have any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I don't know. Are they doing this to get more people in? Frankly, I stopped going. I went maybe 2 or 3 times because why am I going to go in there and share 5 square inches of space? Like, who can even order food when you're sharing tables? A teeny, teeny, tiny table that you're sharing with strangers. I don't know. I don't personally care for Oga's. I think it was a missed opportunity to make it a cooler experience, and instead you're huddled in there like sheep.
How do you really feel? A teeny tiny table.
She's not
It
wrong.
is. I mean, they're like.
That's why I always go
why.
early. I have a problem, but I go at like 9 a.m. because there's no one there. We don't need to unpack the whole thing behind that. But anyway, that's how you get around that.
Tonight.
All right, so let's talk about AP perks for a second. So, you know, we talked about this in the past, is that like last year for Christmas, they sent us all wrapping paper, and it's like, wait, what? That's a little bit odd, but thank you for sending me something, Disney. A lot of people who have common sense used it. For people like me, I kept it sealed, and I think, Allie, we talk about this all the time. I think you did a reveal opening of yours when you got yours.
Mine's right here.
Well, mine's
I didn't
right
open
here.
it yet.
So
Actually,
this one I did open. This one I did open. So, you guys got two? We only got one. So this year, instead of wrapping paper, totally random, I was like, oh my gosh, what's this? It's a magnet. I am sure this is a magnet. Guess what? It's not a magnet. It's recipe cards for a tres leches cake, a sugar cookies, a Jack Jack Num Nums cookies, and beignets. So, and then it has these things on it. Which
Wait, what are these?
Like, exactly. I don't.
I think you put
not...
powdered sugar, like it's like a stencil.
Okay. Well, that's never going to happen. These are going back in this envelope, and they're going to go and be hermetically sealed. But again, it's nice of Disney to think of us, but also, a magnet would have been better. I feel like I kind of love getting the magnets, and I feel like they're kind of getting away from them. We used to see a lot more of that on this coast with the AP perks. This is what they're doing for the Magic Key holders out west. Is this Moana 2 print? I don't know if you got a copy of that while you were out there, or if it hit after you were there, Allie.
I don't think that's come out yet.
And then the other one is a World of Color Season of Light exclusive lithograph.
Yeah, that I'm annoyed about. I was almost ready to book a dessert party just for that, and I was like, that's ridiculous. I should not be doing that, but I almost did it.
And then here's the other one that's available at Disney World, is this one right here, which is the Lion King print, available to Walt Disney World annual pass holders next month. Stop it.
Yeah.
And then the final one, which is, let me see if I can find it here, is so for people who did receive this, there's like a completer piece. They're going to have another one that's available at Epcot, and you're going to have to go. The funny part to me about this is it's just like the magnet. You're going to have to show your ID and your magic band and give them your blood sample and all of this stuff for
a recipe card.
A recipe card, a piece of paper. I mean, that's nuts. I feel like this isn't. I mean, you can go to the KidCot stop and get free paper if you need free paper, but I don't know. Shannon, thoughts on this? You probably, again, you guys joked about my room that I'm in is probably, I can't even imagine what you think it is, but since I have so many things in here, it's probably a disaster because I love stuff, specifically Disney stuff. But Shannon, you strike me as a person that doesn't necessarily love stuff unless you can do something with it. Would you run to get this at Epcot?
I thought about getting it just out of convenience because I'll be there, but I don't think I need it. I don't want it as badly as I want a magnet. Like, it is kind of lame to go out of my way to get. So probably won't get it.
Well, but you would be all about a magnet though, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Oh, always for the magnet.
Okay, let's move on to the Premier Pass. How many Premier Passes are you going to buy when you go, Shannon? Because you said you're going the next month, right?
Yeah. One for every day I'm there.
So here's the thing: if y'all don't know, the Premier
Right?
Pass, Lightning Lane Premier Pass, is a go on every attraction that has Lightning Lane once, whenever you want to, during the course of your stay. Now, this started out as just something for deluxe guests, which makes sense because money. But at the same time, now it's available to all hotels. If you're trying to save money by going to Pop Century, but then you're spending $450 per person at the Magic Kingdom to get in line, is that, Allie, is that where your head's at? Would you do that?
Actually, I don't hate that idea. I always stay cheap because I'm never in the room. And with the remodeled rooms at All Stars and Pop, they're fine. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise, they're fine. And if you're really wanting to go and do the parks hard, staying at a cheap resort and then spending that money that you would spend at a more expensive hotel to do that is actually not a horrible idea. I just don't like that you can only do each ride once. Like you should, like if you're spending that money, you can do whatever you want. Like let them do whatever they want. Go on whatever you want.
I love that. Let them do whatever they want to. Look, if they
Right?
want
And if
to
you're
run the
spending
control
500
booth,
bucks, like
if they want to run the
seriously,
control
yeah, you
booth
want to launch
at
me on
Small
Space
World,
Mountain, go
let
for
them
it.
do it. If they, yeah,
Do it.
if they want to hunt other guests, they paid for the premiere pass. Let them do it. It's fine. You're just like, whatever, it's fine.
Yeah.
Alicia was in chat and pointed out the fact that that it was sold out, and we knew this, that the Magic Kingdom one, which is the most expensive one, was sold out for Thanksgiving Day at the Magic Kingdom. And this was on the heels of the very first time that it actually sold out ever. And now it's sold out at Thanksgiving, and then 5 days of Thanksgiving are sold out at the Magic Kingdom, and that's the high end. Like, there are more Lightning Lane attractions at the Magic Kingdom. There's more value to it, and so therefore it's a higher price, you know, supply and demand. So they have this higher price on it, and they're sold out, $450. Now, again, $450 a day for a family of four is $1,800. My wife continually asks me the question, does that include a ticket? No, it does not. So you have to buy that and the ticket, and then if you're not staying on Disney grounds, you have to pay for parking, and if you are staying on Disney grounds, you have to pay for the hotel, and then you have to pay for any of your drinks because none of that stuff's included. It's kind of a crazy thing. Now, again, the good news about this is we don't have to if we don't want to, right? Like that, but if we want to actually get to ride some of this stuff, we may have to buy a Lightning Lane single pass, or we might want to buy a Lightning Lane multi pass, but again, Shannon, like, legitimately, would you buy, what would make you want to buy Premier Pass?
This is obscene. Nothing would ever make me buy it. I can't fathom someone spending that money. But then again, like, I am also someone who goes there all the time, and I'm very lucky for that. So I can understand if a family has the means to go, that they would do that if it was a once in a lifetime trip. But I can't imagine regular people. It's completely absurd. And you know, here's the thing: I see a lot of people being like, "Oh, we told you people were going to buy it." How many of these really were they accommodating? I'd imagine it would be a small number, because you still have to accommodate the people who buy, you know, the regular Lightning Lane multi-pass and the individual Lightning Lanes, right? So you can't sell a ton of these. I don't know. Yeah,
no, I get it. So honestly, again, it's okay to me, because you don't really know, like, if you're a little kid in the park, you don't know that if those people are in Lightning Lane that they paid for Premier Pass versus single pass. Like, I feel like it's the have and have nots for little kids that they don't understand that sometimes. So in this case, you're not really seeing any difference. You could tell them it's because of DAS. You could tell them for anything like that. There's a lot of reasons you go through a Lightning Lane. But again, you're right. If you have the means and you don't have the time, this is a thing. But when you're at Universal, it's included in a deluxe resort. They give it to you for free. Now, maybe that'll change now that Disney has said, oh, you can charge for these. You guys didn't know that? But again, you know, maybe they'll add another layer, Allie, to, like, hey, not only can you go once, but you can go as many times as you want to, and it doesn't require a reservation. So there's a lot of pluses to it. But I just look at it as like, that is a ton of money, and I already
that is a ton of money.
I already feel like I spend a ton of money when it comes to this kind of stuff.
I mean, there's people that can afford that, and great, like, let them do it. But yeah, I think 99.9% of people have no interest in this.
Yeah. All right. So one last thing before we take off for tonight is the Festival of Arts, which, again, as I've mentioned before, I feel like is the best fest. The Festival of Arts, we see the Broadway concert series, which I love this. So we do Eat to the Beat during Food and Wine, and you have the the concerts during Flower and Garden, and then during Festival Holidays we have the Candlelight Processional, and during the Festival of the Arts we have the Broadway series, which is awesome. 30 years of Disney on Broadway is great. And then we also have the merchandise release that they did here, and some of this stuff looks interesting. I don't necessarily think we have a great idea of what all this is going to be, but it's that weird Figment again, which I'm not sure.
Yeah, I hate it.
I was about to say, how do we
I hate
feel
it.
about that, Allie?
I hate that
figment.
weird figment. Please stop with the weird figment. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Stop. That's where I'm at. I love Festival of the Arts, but why are we ruining the merchant? Like, I would buy all the merchandise. I would buy all the figment stuff, but I'm not going to buy any of that stuff that they showed because it's got that horrendous figment on it. So thank you for saving me money. But
did you ever see the figment statuette, the little one? It was even different than this. It was a different kind of figment, and they sold it in the parks.
yeah,
They actually had so many left over that they gave them to the people of
Yep.
D23. So, because they were like, "Oh,
like
you want this? We don't really have anything else we can do with this." So, but anyway, Shannon, I don't know if we talked about you having been to Festival of Arts or not, but would you be looking forward to watching the Broadway series stuff?
I love Festival of the Arts, but entertainment-wise, it's actually not my favorite. I really like Eat to the Beat, so I can't say I'm looking forward to that. What I love about Festival of the Arts is the artwork, the physical artwork. I like looking at that and or purchasing it. So.
Isn't it funny that we love the artwork, but we hate the figment artwork specifically? We love the art. No, I don't. And again, I don't hate it. I just feel like, why are you making that change to them? It seems very unnecessary. But it'll be interesting to see if they have other cool stuff at Festival of the Arts. Usually, just like most festivals now, there's like different groups of merchandise, and so maybe they'll have this, and they'll have like festival stuff, and they'll have Mickey stuff, and it'll be great. So. Anyway, I'm excited about it. Festival of the Arts starts in January, goes through February. Very short festival, but if you get a chance to go, you should definitely go. Thank you guys for being on the show tonight. Quick programming schedule about ParksCenter is that we are not going to have a ParksCenter next Sunday night because the WDWNT Marathon for Toys for Tots will be happening on that weekend. So we are not going to be doing ParksCenter. There will probably be a live auction happening at this time next week. So I hope you guys have a very happy Thanksgiving, and then you can come back and see us on December 8th. And then on December 15th, we'll do our ParksCenter 2024 review of the year. Not of us, but of the year. And then the year at Disney. And then we're going to take off for Christmas, New Year's, and we'll be back on January 5th for a preview of what's to come in 2025. And there's a lot on the docket at Disney Parks for 2025 and a lot to talk about. So that's for ParksCenter. And if you join us for Deep in the Plus on Wednesday nights, we just did Sleeping Beauty and Hawkeye. And then during the marathon, we will not have a show this Wednesday, but then we're going to do one during the marathon on November 30th. From 7 to 9, we're going to be doing Deadpool versus Wolverine. And then we back to our regular time on the 4th, the 11th, and the 18th with some holiday/winterish content. So hopefully you guys will join us then. Big shout out to our wigs. Thank you guys, the WDWNT Interglobe Society. We appreciate you so much for being members of the family. Thank you guys for being in the chat. Thank you guys for being hanging out with us for ParksCenter. Can't wait to hear everybody's comments. I would love for you guys to come back and leave comments if you're watching this recorded or live. Come back and leave comments after the show is done about your thoughts on Muppet Vision, about the Monstropolis, and about the Rockin Roller Coaster. I would love to hear what everybody has to say. It's so interesting watching Twitter, and the thoughts are all over the board, from "this is my favoriteest thing ever, how could you," to "yeah, it's about time." I mean, and we kind of had that here. So
I don't want to see it go, for the record. I just wasn't surprised. It was old. Yep. I don't want to see it go.
Awesome. All right. Well, and if you are a Wigs member, we have a quick post show for you after this. Otherwise, we will see you guys next time. Have a good one. And
Forever?
have a happy and safe Thanksgiving. Talk to you later.
Yes. Dun, dun, dun.
Aw, so nice. I have the two sleepiest people to do post show, so we will do post show very quickly. I promise.
You caught one of my